Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of my new Myteam career mode. Going into the new year, happy new year everyone. I hope you had a good night last night and aren't suffering too much this morning. But yeah, if you're wondering what the hell's going on with this series, what happened to my old series, why we're starting again, all those questions, be sure to go and check out yesterday's video. That should explain a few things. As we go into this new alternate F1 universe for our career mode. But yet, in terms of upgrades then, we start from scratch. We have kind of a balanced upgrade package. I skipped the interview with Will Buxton and all that stuff, no point showing that again, but yeah, as engine, once again, is the weakest part of our package. This time we're Honda powered with the V6 Honda. The V10's looking quite strong, and then it's kind of checkerboard of V6s and V8s. But yeah, in terms of upgrades, we're going to upgrade the analysis suite and the personnel department. That's very important to get that stat up for our teammate, as that's going to help us bring in some more resource points. And yeah, like I said, start from scratch. Also, I'm going to upgrade my personal driver perks. I think it's important to get them in early, again for the resource points, to look after his engine components a little bit, and to get his acclaim up and running. We are running reduced acclaim and resources for the player once again, just to have that bit of extra challenge and extra realism for a new team coming into Formula 1. But yeah, we're heading to the season opener not at Bahrain. It says it's Bahrain, but it's not at Bahrain. The season's actually going to open at Brazil. So for the first time in this new season, we go through the timeline, and we have as first department event, and we have a choice between pace and awareness for his teammate. We're going to go with pace. I think that'll be an important thing to start off with the season, get that pace up. We also have the driver training camp coming up for him, but we have another department event, and this time it's we can trade a bit of cash and get 600 resource points. That's going to be massive for us at the start of the season. That could possibly get us another upgrade. We couldn't afford another upgrade. As you can see, his resource points looking quite strong. So yeah, we might as well just go straight in and get another upgrade. And I'm going to go for a front downforce upgrade. We already have a rear downforce upgrade, so hopefully this is going to just help balance things out. And we can afford another upgrade on the chassis as well. So I'm going to go all out on weight reduction, try and develop a very light car. That's kind of a theme with Ginetta's race cars, as they are kind of teamed up with us for this season, bringing that Ginetta branding to Formula 1. But yeah, without further ado, let's go to qualifying. So here we are then in qualifying at the Brazilian Grand Prix here at Interlagos, with a slightly different V6 engine sound. It sounds suspiciously like a Formula 2 car, but I think this just sounds better. It sounds better than the Formula 1 engines, so yeah, this is what as V6s are going to sound like, as we can just do a couple of back-to-back laps in qualifying, just to get a feel for the track and such. Obviously a sprint round at Brazil, so it's actually the sprint race that will decide his position for the Grand Prix. But let's have a listen to some of the new engines. This is the Mercedes V8. Very nice, very reminiscent of some of the races I used to watch. We also have the BMW engine, which is also a V8. So yeah, BMW enter as an engine supplier, teaming up once again with Williams. And then of course we have the Ferrari V10. Damn, what a noise that is, taking me right back to 2004 and 2005 when I first started watching Formula 1. So yeah, it's pretty awesome to have some V10s back on the grid. The sound of Formula 1, that is. But for us then, we're at the end of qualifying then, and we're going to go for our final lap to try and get us as high up the grid for the sprint race as we possibly can. We have one of the Jaguars ahead of us, and maybe even get a bit of a tow from them. Hopefully they don't hold us up too much. The midfield at the start of the season is always quite clumped together, so we do go off track a little bit there. The FIA didn't see it, but we're alright. But it does look like the Jaguar is going to hold us up a little bit as we come into this middle sector. And you can see we actually go positive on the Delta, as it kind of spooked me a little bit. I'm not sure which one it is. It's either Tsunoda or Gasly, as Jaguar took over from the Alpha Tauri team. And we actually make a massive mistake on our flying lap at the end there. And yeah, that's pretty much ruined qualifying for us as one of the Renaults flies past us. So we're just going to have to bring it back into the pits and hope that our banker laps basically were good enough. It's going to be P20, so not amazing for his first Grand Prix here, but with that, let's go straight into the sprint race, starting P20 on the grid, and let's see what happens. We've got the BMW at the back of Latifi, then it's the two Toyota Gazoo Racing cars with Vettel and Stroll, as we just try to nip up the inside. I think we've got Stroll around the outside. Stroll and Latifi trading blows, so a bit of contact there. Someone just hit us on the rear. We're going to squeeze Latifi out in that Williams. Quite tough, hard racing there, but we've also got Stroll right up as chuff. We kind of park his car right in the middle of the track there, try and keep defensive and make it awkward for Stroll to get past as we go chasing after their teammates then. Vettel and Albon up ahead of us as we come into this middle sector. We go around the outside of Vettel as he was a little bit slow there, and we're going to have the inside for this corner. He sticks his nose in, but we're going to get the run around the outside, and Albon very early on the brakes there, and we nip up the inside of him, and that's kind of 2 places gained already. But then Albon just goes straight into the side of us, and then we collect Vettel, and that's both of us out of the sprint on lap 1. So not an ideal start to the weekend. We're going to be starting out of the back of the grid for the Grand Prix. So yeah, not good. But with that, let's head into the Grand Prix then and see if we can recover.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here in Interlagos, where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7 mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Junsao into one of the 2 DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Perez, George Russell and Hamilton, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Gasly and Valtteri Bottas, Ocon, Ricciardo, Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher, Joe, Tsunoda, Roy Nissany and Lance Stroll, Latifi, Albon, Evans and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
So we're not right at the back of the grid, we're starting P21, I think Vettel just behind us. But we're just going to do the one stop. There is some rain expected right at the end of the Grand Prix, but I don't think the track's going to get wet enough in time for us to get onto the intermediate tyres. At least that's not what the forecast says, but there's only one way to find out then. As we line up on the grid, the 5 red lights go out, and away we go then for the first race here in this alternate F1 universe. And it's a brilliant start for Vettel as we look round the outside. I'm just kind of off track a little bit there, trying not to hit Albon, and there's a couple of cars in front of us. There's teammate and Latifi there, and Vettel comes straight back at us, as does Albon, as we kind of got held up there. So right to the back of the grid, not ideal at all, and we're actually going to hit the brakes. Albon weaving about all over the place, and then just drives straight across the front of us like we're not there. So the AI, absolutely crazy, especially both in that first race. It were Albon who caused both the issues, but as we come round the corner, there's a yellow flag, and that's someone out of this Grand Prix already. It's Roy Nissany, his teammate, and the safety car's been deployed. And yeah, what a crazy race already, lap 1. Let's see what happened. Roy Nissany, there he is, his teammate, is kind of in this little pack here, and he just drives straight into the back of the Audi of Guan Yu Zhou. This is his on board, and it looks like he gets brake checked a little bit there by Latifi. He goes into the back of Latifi, and Guan Yu Zhou straight into the back of his teammate straight into the back of Guan Yu Zhou. So not a great start for our team. A DNF in the sprint, and now a DNF in the Grand Prix as well. But we go racing again then on lap 3. See if we can make up some positions then, as Guan Yu Zhou absolutely sends it on about 2 or 3 cars there. We once again get past Vettel. Albon actually DNF'd as he got collected in that incident. He lost his front wing, so a little bit of karma there. Albon causing 2 collisions in this weekend already, and causing a DNF for, well, he caused a DNF for me and Vettel in that first race, as Vettel's actually looking up us inside now, but we manage just about to defend. We've got Latifi in front, so we've got to watch he doesn't brake check us. Vettel still has his nose on the inside, but it's going to switch to the outside for this next corner, and we manage just to hold on and get back ahead of Vettel, as the train in front of us a little bit slow on these initial laps after the safety car restart. We get a bit of a run on Latifi coming out that corner, not quite close enough to make a move though, as we come round this last corner then onto the not quite straight, and then we're going to use a bit of ERS, and in the slipstream of that BMW Williams, see if we can make a move on Latifi into T1. He's going to go defensive to the inside. We look round the outside, but there's not really anything we can do there, as we come round the Senna S then onto this first kind of or second straight if you like, once again using ERS in the slipstream. But he's just going to park his car really awkwardly sort of in the middle of the track, and there were nowhere really for us to go. We couldn't really make the move down the inside, especially after his teammate was so aggressive on that opening lap. But we're going to go right the way around his outside for this next corner, just like we kind of did when we were defending from Vettel, but we use it as a kind of more of an attacking move this time, and we get the job done on Latifi. We're up into P18 now, and we've got the Audi Sauber of Zhou Guanyu ahead of us, who's made up loads of places, well I say loads, 2 places on that opening restart lap. But just like we did with Latifi, we're going to go right round the way, round the outside on him, on that long right-hander, get the inside for this left-hander, and that's us then up into P17 now. And there's a little bit of a train ahead of us. There's Lance Stroll in there in the Toyota, quite high up really, you would say, and he's holding up Daniel Ricciardo in the McLaren, but he's on the soft tyres. He's doing the 2-stop, is Lance Stroll, and he comes in on lap 8 onto lap 9, and that's going to leave Ricciardo kind of open to attack, as he was slowed down so much by Stroll. But there's not quite anything we can do just yet against that McLaren, and it's obviously a much faster car than what we've got at the minute, so we kind of just follow him round for a few laps. until lap 9, and you can see this train kind of headed by Schumacher. Then you've got Bottas and the two Jaguars of Gasly and Tsunoda. A nice onboard from Tsunoda there. The Jaguars running the Honda engine, and then you've got Kevin Magnussen and Esteban Ocon in the V10 Renault. Listen to that. But then behind Ocon there's Ricciardo and myself. As we come on to lap 13, once again we're looking quite close to Ricciardo, and this time we might just be able to sneak round the outside and get the move done on the McLaren. We caught him napping a little bit there, and I don't think it's going to stay like this all race, but it's nice that we have the confidence to do that. And you might have heard my engineer saying that the pit window opens soon, so we have to think about strategy here. I'm going to follow these guys ahead and see what they do, and when they come into the pits, I want to be on that second round of pit stops. So when the first guys come in for their pit stops, which they do on lap 17, I'm going to stay out for a lap and try and get an overcut maybe on some of these guys while they're on the cold hard tyres. So here we are, lap 16 on to 17, as some of those guys come in. We're probably not going to be racing Ricciardo and Ocon all race, but there are some other cars in there, like the Audi. I think there's the Audi of Bottas, the two Andretti Haas cars, and the Jaguars as well. They're the kind of guys we want to be fighting. So we come in on lap 17 then for our first and only pit stop of the race, unless that rain kind of comes early, but I don't think it will. We'll see what happens as we get an optimal turn in. But if you look on that front right tyre, there's an issue getting it on, and that's going to kill any progress we made on that kind of in-lap. So yeah, the overcut probably not going to work as we look to rejoin the track then, and we're going to be back down into P17. So we lost out a position, I believe, to Ricciardo. I think he got us back, and Stroll as well, who's on that 2-stop, remember. So he's got another pit stop to make, as we're going to skip forward once again into this race. And you can see it is looking very gloomy, and the rain has come early. So Stroll might have played a bit of a blinder with the strategy here, and he's slowed up Magnussen in that Andretti Haas car. So much so, we're actually going to make the move on him as we go up the inside then, and that's DRS disabled due to the wet weather, and that's normally an indicator that it's time to come in to the intermediate. So Lance Stroll, he's done only one stop, and we're all going to make another stop, and obviously Stroll's been on the softer tyre, so maybe he knew something we didn't, or took a strategy gamble there. And speaking of strategy gambles then, in we come to the pits on lap 23. I thought Magnussen were going to follow, but everyone else stays out to do another lap. But we're going to come in this lap for the intermediate tyre, and maybe this time we can get that overcut or undercut in this case to work. We are going to need a good pit stop this time if we're going to get it to work, and it's much better, 2.3 seconds, no mistakes that time from us pit crew. So we're very happy with that. And now we just play the waiting games on lap 25. There's Gasly in the Jaguar, one of the Audis. Both the Andretti Haas cars have come in, so we'll see what happens when we come out. Lap 25, we start as we're in P17 or P16 after we overtook Magnussen on track. So we come back out, and it looks like we've just about jumped Lance Stroll in that Toyota. So yeah, back up into P15 then, so we gain a position, and we'll see what happens, as there are still a couple of other cars out there on slick tyres, one of them being this man Yuki Tsunoda in the other Jaguar. So he's going to come in on lap 25, at the end of lap 25 on to lap 26, and as we come on to lap 26, or we're into lap 26, you can see both me and Stroll jump Tsunoda, so that's us up into P14. With 10 laps to go, I think we're going to be going to the end of the race on these intermediate tyres, but as you can see there, very, very slippery out there. I always struggle in the wet weather on this game compared to the AI, so we've got to be very, very careful as we come lap 34 on to lap 35, the second to last lap. We've got as mirrors full of Toyota as Lance Stroll looks up as inside. We're squeezing tight to the inside and then try and re-get him round the outside. A lot of understeer kicking in now with the wet weather, and we're so slow out the centre S. We hold Stroll up, and now Tsunoda's just going to cruise past him, and now we've got his mirrors full of Jaguar, so we've got to be careful here as Magnussen's rejoining the party as well. We're a little bit later on the brakes, and we managed just about to hold on to this P14, but Tsunoda's going to have a look coming back at us as we get on the inside for this long right-hander, and I'm quite strong through that corner. Very, very careful on the throttle though, and we just about managed to hold on to the end of the race. This is then mirrors still full of Jaguar, but we're just going to hold on and bring the car home in P14, which I think is a pretty solid result for his first race of the season, beating out that Jaguar, one of the Andretti's, I think one of the Audis. So it's been a very strong season, start to the season for us, and I'm very happy with that result.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
So it's Max Verstappen then who wins the opening round, and he's joined by the two Ferraris actually up on the podium, so it's been a pretty strong race for them. We'll see what that means for the constructors in just a little bit as the podium celebrations commence. So yeah, let's see what happens. Obviously it's early days in this championship, but yeah, very strong start for Red Bull with the sprint points as well. Remember, Verstappen completely dominated, won the sprint, won the race, got the fastest lap. Then you had Leclerc and Sainz in the Ferraris. Then it was Perez then making a bit of a Red Bull Honda sandwich. Then you had the two Mercedes monster cars. So we'll see what that means. Verstappen obviously is going to lead the championship, then Leclerc 9 points behind. For us, we're in P14 as teammate right at the bottom of the standings. So Red Bull Honda do lead by 3 points. Now we're in P9 then. We need to finish P10. That's our season objective. But that's it for today, guys. If you did enjoy the episode, please hit subscribe to keep up to date with it. Hit that like button as well, and I'll see you all in the next one.